I really loved the track scenes more than I thought that I would. I am not a runner. We'll start
Me
there.
neither.
But at the end, my calves were so sore, but I was so satisfied with myself that I was like, this might be similar to what a runner's high is, like when I was just proud of my work as AJ.
Kristen here, and today we're chatting with the stars of Hulu's Crush, Auli'i Cravalho and Isabella Ferreira. This film is about a girl who is very artistic and she gets stuck joining the track team, and she uses that as an opportunity to try to get closer to her crush and instead ends up falling for a different teammate. I hope you enjoy this conversation. Oh my gosh, you look so cute. I'm so glad to meet you and talk with you about Crush. It was so good. And so I just want to know, tell us about it. Tell us about AJ. What can you share?
Sure. So I play AJ Campos. I am one of the co-leaders of our track team with my sister, Gabriela Campos. And one day, this artsy girl joins the track team, and she's not great at running. She's not even good at running, but Paige kind of starts to spark feelings, and we get to see what a first crush looks like and also what first love feels like through that.
Gabby, she is the popular it girl. She's turning heads everywhere she goes. She loves to be the center of attention. And Crush in general is just about this teenage girl who finds herself being forced to join the track team. But while she's on it, she uses it as an opportunity to go after her longtime crush, also known as Gabby. But while that happens, she kind of falls for an unexpected teammate. And the film is it's just a lot of love and a lot of fun. It's a rom-com, obviously, and a queer rom-com at that, and I'm very proud of it.
And you're working with so many fun, young, rising actors. What was it like on this set?
Oh, I loved working with these actors. Our cast includes Rowan Blanchard, Tila Dunn, Isabella Ferreira, Tyler Alvarez, Addie Wyrick, Rico Paris, with Asif Mandvi, Michelle Bateau, and Megan Mullally. We have such a stacked cast, and it was wonderful working with them. They hit the comedy on the head. It was so fun working with them. They're all so funny. And then there's also the heart of what we've truly created, which is a rom-com that is coming of age and queer and loving. And I'm really proud of what we created.
It was amazing. I mean, we had a lovely director, Sammy. She was the best. And the writers, everyone, the crew, the cast, everybody was fantastic. So I feel like it's really easy to make a film when everybody's just as good as they are. And I think what I learned the most about it is how funny everybody was. I love watching and observing people and seeing their tactics and how they work around things. And I think everybody's characters just fit them perfectly. So it was great.
I feel like we don't always get to see, the LGBTQ experience from the perspective of queer women.
Yeah.
And so that to me is so exciting that, this is centered around that. And I think also between this movie, between Heartstopper that's coming out, we're really seeing positive representation in the bisexual community and that experience. Can you just talk about maybe how important that is or what that means to you?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's really important. And what really drew me to this film when I first read the script was how funny it was, but also that our film doesn't center around a coming out story, and it's, I like to know what happens the day after you come out or the day after that, because there's the lives of queer people are so full and vibrant outside of sexuality. You know what I mean? People are gay. I don't know what to tell you. People are gay, and it's fun to tease and to show a coming of age in a high school based rom-com like this, because this is what we see in Gen Z. They are out and they are proud and they are funny. And I think a lot of what we're seeing in Crush is, of course, thanks to our writers, Casey Rackham and Kristen King, who are queer themselves, as well as our director, Sammy Cohen, who's also queer. So to have these wonderful actors in front of the camera, but also the representation and the support behind the camera. Like all in all, like we just get this film that is filled to the brim with Gen Z humor and dental dams. Like it's just hilarious.
I mean, it's so important. These are stories that I would have wanted to see when I was younger, and I still want to see till this day. I mean, I'm still young, I'm still going through my own things. And I think my favorite thing about Crush is that it focuses on LGBTQ characters, but it doesn't focus on the narrative of their coming out story. It's just normalizing who they are. And it's just a simple love story. So I think that's what I love the most about the film.
I love what you said about how, like, because you have people behind the scenes in front of the screen that are of this experience, that like it doesn't have to be like a traumatic story. Like this is just a fun rom-com about people falling in love, and like why can't people have that?
Exactly. I love it.
I love it. I love it. Can you share, like, did you have any favorite moments or even more challenging moments while you were filming?
I really loved the track scenes more than I thought that I would. I am not a runner. We'll start there. But I actually found it pretty freeing because I had done some running, like to prep myself, hated that. And I realized that this was where AJ was most comfortable. And I was like, why couldn't they be swimmers? I'm so much better at swimming. But it's the physical strength that I think AJ took a lot of pride in. And like, I'm running, my boobs are going up and down while I'm running. I'm like, oh my God, like my inner Auli'i critic is screaming. But at the same time, it's about speed. So I remember pushing myself. And when you're running track, you have these cleats that have like spikes in the bottom. I didn't know that. So that was new to me. I don't know if anyone else knows that who's watching this, but I didn't know. And at the end, my calves were so sore, but I was so satisfied with myself that I was like, this might be similar to what a runner's high is, like when I was just proud of my work as AJ. And so hate running, but learned a lot from it.
Pretty much every running scene that we had, Syracuse had a lot of bees at the time that we were filming. So you can basically, I'm sure there's so many bloopers of us just like running, me and Tila specifically, who plays Stacy in the film, literally just running away from these bees. And so when we had to run during those scenes, I mean, that was actual running. We were running for our lives. One of my favorite moments is probably the party scene that we had, just because we had the entire cast there and we were able to just have fun and like, do the thing together. So it was great.
You also star on Love, Victor. Do you think that your character of Pilar and Gabby would get along?
I don't know if they'd get along. It's like two opposite sides of the spectrum. I mean, Pilar is very grungy. She's to herself. She doesn't really get along with many people in general. So to try and get along with like the popular it girl of the school who loves attention, I don't necessarily see them being besties, but I mean, friends, maybe classmates.
This year also marks like 6 years since you made your professional acting debut as Moana, which is like amazing. And I'm just curious, like, how has that changed your life and what have you learned in your career since then? I mean, you've done so many incredible things since.
Thank you. Has it been 6 years?
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, I've learned a lot. I think what I'm most proud of is that I'm proud of my work. I'm such a critic of my own, of myself. Like I'll watch myself in Crush or in any other film, and I immediately look at my face and I'm like, I don't believe you. Or sometimes I'll look at something that my hands do and I'm like, what are you doing with your hands? Like I'm so critical. But I'm getting better at it, and I love the honesty that I get to portray. And instead of a character, which is what for me voiceover is, it is a character voice. You have to do the most with your voice because otherwise you can't see it. Like you have to see the action through my voice. Instead, for live action, I almost feel like I have to practice doing less, like do less, and something I've learned is like, if you think it, the audience will see it. So more than an outward confession to the audience, what I love most about acting now is that it's more of like a thought process. Like how deep deeply embedded in thought can I get with my character, which is hard but rewarding work.
I want to thank you so much for your time, and congratulations on Crush. I think people are going to love it.
Thank you very much. Have a wonderful day.
You too. It was so great to meet you.
Bye.
Consider subscribing if you like my videos, and if you want to talk more TV and movies with me outside of the comments section, check out the exclusive Discord available on my Patreon at patreon.com/kmaldo. If you like this one, you can check out more of my videos right over here. See ya!